American artist Gaia develops works that investigate issues of urbanism, humanism, and globalization. Globalization is often the foundation of Gaia's work. At Lodi, he addresses global warming, developing a minimalist composition designed to trigger a dialogue about the looming calamity.
We have reading from left to right in this piece, or what the constituent elements of this composition are as one hand emerging out of the water that was actually shot by my friends in Puerto Rico for a different project that used that source material here within this piece. You have an inflated globe as we understand it to exist. We've got the Shisha Gumbad, which is a aspect or one sort of architectural aspect of Lodi Garden, built by the Lodi dynasty. It translates as the glass dome. It is sitting in front of a Victorian greenhouse. And then as you move farther down the composition, you have a deflated globe and then another hand emerging out of the water, mirrored from left to right.
Gaia is like an artist from the US who's like really famous, and he got mentioned like by the Forbes as like one of the under 30 to be like most influential in terms of like art and style. And basically over here in Delhi for the Star Delhi Festival, he worked mainly on climate change. So usually when we have like relationship and support by the embassies, the artists are like absolutely free to express themselves and to treat like whatever topics they want to speak about. But the American Center actually suggested to speak about like climate change as one of the main topics like that right now are very important all over the world. And Gaia was like actually really up for like speaking about climate change in Delhi, especially also because of what all is happening in terms of pollution over here.
His mural, titled "How is Global Warming?" is a bricolage. It brings together different architectural styles from different time periods to represent Lodi Colony's diverse neighborhood. And the name Gaia is no coincidence. The word itself means earth goddess.
My work is very much based within research, and I use painting as an excuse for being curious, for continuing to have the privilege to be able to navigate the world, to navigate these spaces, to hopefully gain entry into various communities who are generous enough to allow me within them, and then draw my own personal sort of neurological connections between all these far-flung spaces, and hopefully develop a more holistic portrait of the world, or a more holistic portrait of how place relates to one another. I do want to draw parallels in order to promulgate a kind of universal humanism. One that understands our differences, but understands that we have to always push the boundaries of what ultra-modernity is capable of including. We're able to build the Burj Khalifa, the Empire State Building, the Golden Gate Bridge, and all these multi-billion-dollar projects. We have to be able to also receive bodies who are in trouble, who need our collective help, and be open to a cultural exchange.
His work honors an element central to street art but often overlooked: the buildings themselves.
Street art is ultimately dependent upon architecture. I, of course, like to acknowledge the formal qualities of a building and not entirely erase and or entirely make the facade invisible. So leaving a lot of space within the composition always helps also acknowledge the building. I just want to acknowledge architecture's place in how we move about the world, how we navigate our cities, how we relate to one another. And of course, we almost understand that we're in conversation with architecture and structure. I do know that a lot of architectural purists are sort of rolling in their grave right now to see so many modernist beauties and modernist specimen completely just made invisible by paint, by skin. I'm grateful for the fact that I was made to approach global warming because it gave me a kind of a break in terms of trying to develop something in a culture that is so layered and so deep that is able to simultaneously manage and interpret extremely traditional cultures and very contemporary approaches to being more global citizens.
At the hands that are drowning and the shades that you look in that river, it's a reflection that we are drowning. It shows that there's a coexistence of modern and traditional and the pre-medieval art that is sustaining. But then again, if we are not able to sustain and capture it and save it, we won't be able to see it again.
I think it's very symbolic because you can clearly see on one side we have thriving world, thriving globe, and on the other side you can see that the complete air has come out.
You can see a lot of Mughal architecture in here, so very artistically done and very nice, very nice.
The transporter building in Tughlakabad is in an area that is dusty, industrial, and crowded. It's surrounded by trucks and shipping containers. Here is where Bangalore-based artist, architect, and designer Ullas Hydoor makes his contribution to the START Festival. Inspired by those living near the containers at ICD, he creates a piece titled Contain.
When I came here, when I saw the containers out here, so I just realized something like these people over here who are living over here, they have their own life, So everything like they work around the containers, they have work like it's like shifting the containers, taking the containers back home, or taking the containers from one place to another place. So the whole place has become like a house for them. So they're living out of these containers or inside these containers. They can have a life apart from this. They can go back home and the lorries are parked and without they're doing nothing over here. But at the same point of time, they're just trying to contain themselves over here, giving the whole place a new, like meaning to the thing. Like they've given the whole place a new face, where they're playing cricket and they're like have their bastis over here. They have a dhaba over here. So basically, yeah, I just wanted to show like how this, like it was a very symbolic representation of what I saw around.
Instead of keeping it confined and elite, Ullas prefers to make his work accessible.
I always saw art in galleries. As a student, I used to visit galleries for art shows. So I always felt this art should be out there, like out in the street, like where people are, so seeing the artwork, people appreciate the artwork. So it's not restricted to just one class of people who just sit and have a wine and like, enjoy the art.
Ullas makes a towering abstract work. In it, hands reach for a geometric container. But the work, unlike the lorries that fill our streets today, is almost entirely devoid of color.
In our urban life, how much of a colorful stuff we see around us, so everything is like sort of grey. How much of colors, how many different colors of containers are around us, how many different colors of lorries we have over here. People just see them like they don't see the color of those containers. They don't enjoy the beauty of the color composition which is around us. They see it as just like a mean of earning for it, right? So they see everything in grey, like different shades, like all in black and white, light and shadows. So the piece basically it's very geometric. So and I wanted to make the hands more very sketchy, like so they are not definite hands, where the things which are containing them are not like something which is like forcefully put on them. It's an idea what they're forcefully putting on themselves, you know. So that's why the hands are very sketchy and like sketchy lines kind of stuff. It's not a definitive thing.
Basically what he painted was like, you know, these kind of two hands which are roughly sketched. So something which actually you can't even see is a sort of presence which is there in ICD, but you can't really see. And this kind of presence is basically playing with this rectangular shape, which is like a sort of like, you know, reminder of containers. And actually all these containers and all this rectangular shape are forming like an overall shape which has a strong resemblance with basically with the face of the truck. So this was like, you know, also a way for him to say like, you know, to all the truckers that actually they are there and they are moved by other forces that they don't even know, and actually their entire lives somehow is kind of conditioned by needs that are not belonging to themselves, but they are needs of someone else. So it was like also sort of commentary about like, you know, lots of things that actually we do in our lives and we don't even know why.
The piece even contains some hidden messages, including a nod to a long-standing trucker's ritual.
The only thing which I wanted to give was the green space around the nose, where the nose is around. So that's where like that's like the fresh air they are trying to breathe. Like, you know, the small little pocket of breathing space they might have acquired over here. But yeah, the whole thing got a new meaning only because like I found these people who they came and asked me like, what is this piece? I told them it's a nazar battu. You know, you have this nazar battus what they put in front of the lorries, and it's something like, you know, saves you from the evil eye kind of stuff. And this being a transport building and it being a nazar battu, you know, it just added into the thing. Yeah. So mostly the piece, like they all like the piece. Surprisingly, I don't know. The best part is like they love the fact like, you know, something new is happening around here, because their lives have been so dull. Like as I'm seeing, like even though they are trying to have their own kind of fun, but at the same point of time they're sitting and waiting here for lorries, the days together till the container gets like there's a permit inside or permit out. So they're just wasting time out here, you know. Like so they're really happy that something different is happening around here.
चित्र के हिसाब से जैसा लग रहा है कि ये एक किसी आदमी का माने आदमी का आर्टिस्ट जैसा लग रहा है ये
कार्टून जैसा लग रहा है, जैसे बनाते हैं ना गाड़ी में आगे चित्र बनाते हैं गाड़ी को, माने भयानक दिखने के लिए ऐसे ही लग रहा है।
ये कैमरा है, ये ऐसा दर्शाते हुए दिख रहा है कि चारों तरफ कैमरे लगे हुए हैं, यहाँ से कोई बाहर नहीं जा सकता है गलत काम करके।